Hi, I'm Bill. I'm going to show you how you can treat your own home do-it-yourself style. Okay, you fellow do-it-yourselfers, I'm going to show you a professional way. All the products we sell in our store are professional products. This product in here, we also have a machine that we use when we're doing multiple different jobs, and it's the same product inside. So these are all professional products. This one, particular one, is one of my favorites. It comes with a fogging tip, and you can put your crack and crevice tip on here, kind of wiggle it on there, and now you can spray, like you said before, your hinges, okay? Cracks and crevices, okay? That's where the bugs are. They're not out here. They're in the cracks and crevices. When you're doing the appliances, and I'm always tell people be careful with the appliances, I always unplug them. That's it. And then you may want to clean it out because roaches will get into the little nicks and crannies. Stoves, okay, you got these little areas here. Okay, again, you don't need a lot. Just a little half a second blast. That's it. You're not drowning the bugs. You're treating the area. So again, this is one of my favorites. Comes with a fogging tip and a crack and crevice tool. This is how it's sold for the do-it-yourselfer. Okay? Questions? Can't question because you're not answering me. Right? Big mistake, people fail to treat areas like this. They got their vitamins, their stuff on here. Move it slightly, maybe behind it. It's not, if you do it correctly and do it lightly, it's not going to hurt anything. The stuff is not to drown the bug in these products. It's to treat it so if it gets on, they die. Yellow pages, newspapers. If you keep those, you're going to get roaches. A lot of people used to keep newspapers for their bird cages. If I ever saw a bird in someone's house and they had newspaper, they're going to have roaches. When you come home with your groceries, you put them on the table. That's where the roaches come from. They're hitchhikers. German cockroaches are hitchhikers. They don't come in from your neighbors. They come in from you, bringing them in. People forget the cracks and crevices underneath, they love wood. So whether you're doing it yourself or you're hiring a professional like us, people always miss this. Even my guys sometimes. That's why we have a lot of training sessions. These are areas that people tend to miss under chairs. Areas that people always miss. It's wood. Roaches love that, and it always gets missed. I've gone on jobs where we had to go back on callbacks, and I asked the customer or the technician, "Did you check this? Did you check that?" And a lot of times I'll go there and I say, "Where do you put your groceries?" Well, usually I can tell where they put their groceries. And usually I'll go right underneath and that's where the roaches are. And it most likely always gets missed by either the homeowner, do-it-yourselfer, or even sometimes professionals. Okay, how to treat a closet. Closets. Generally, we spray up top. We don't dust up top because dust can come on the floors, which is not going to hurt the clothes, but it's just not the way we do it. If we need to treat a closet, you're going to spray up top and you're going to dust in the bottom. Palmetto bugs will usually be in the closet. You don't really get roaches in the closets, most palmetto bugs. Palmetto bugs, even though they're big and mean looking, they are very easy to control and get rid of. So closets, good source of palmetto bugs mostly, sometimes plastic bag worms. With plastic bag worms, will usually be in a place like this and basically sweep them off. Or any kind of spray will eliminate them. So that's how you treat a closet. Okay, typical bathroom. Okay, a lot of people miss stuff in the bathroom. When I'm training my guys, I will do extra dust just to show how when you put dust in here, it comes on the top. That way you know the whole back of the mirror is dusted. And bugs, roaches are not going to live in this dust. Behind, you got a crack here. You open here, you have, again, the pipes in the back. Okay, you want a little bit of dust, a little bit of aerosol, you're going to control that. Showers, I always get the windows, okay? And also, sometimes I pull this cap back a little bit, unless it's sealed, a little bit of dust in there. Dust doesn't go away, stays. Window frames, the cracks, okay? And sometimes I spray a little up top here. Not always necessary, but sometimes I do that also. Okay, bedrooms, guest rooms, treat a little bit different. You're not really gonna have a big problem in bedrooms, maybe ants, some roaches maybe, but a lot of people just spray behind these dressers. Dust is your best friend. Dust a little bit of dust here will travel throughout the back, it's not gonna leave a mess. If you use spray, which I train my guys not to spray behind these, dust behind this, maybe a little aerosol, because what happens, the spray is a liquid. So you hit that wall, Let's say one day you want to move this dresser, now you got a wall with streaks from the dirt, from the dust, and the liquid. Same thing up top. I might spray the top, but very lightly, almost like spray paint where you don't even see it. It doesn't drip down. Same thing with mirrors. You dust. If you dust these mirrors and stuff properly, you will never get a bug behind there. Electronics, dust. A lot of companies are afraid of using dust because if you're not careful, you can leave a mess. We do extensive training with my guys on how to use dust. Dust is the best thing for electronics. Very lightly, bugs don't like it, they'll stay away. Okay, again, we always start in the kitchen. If you don't start in the kitchen, it's a big mistake. But when you're doing the rest of the house, we talk about electronics, even behind TVs, there's space here. A little aerosol, dust. It stays back there, very light, and if you put a little dust here, it's gonna float back there, it'll stay there. The only thing you can get back here, maybe ants. That's really it. Unless it's really bad with roaches, then you need to do a little more. But basically, you're spraying back here for ants and little straggler bugs. Typical garage. The garage is really the easiest place to treat because you don't have to be as careful. You still want to be careful, but not as bad. Dust is your best friend. Same thing like a closet. I'll spray up top and I dust below. Okay. Again, dust lasts a long time behind these items. And a garage, you're going to have mostly palmetto bugs, occasionally German roaches, but generally in the garage, palmetto bugs. Okay. They do come from the outside. They get in your areas like this, and it's hard to remove. Up top, when I go into a new account, if I see spiders up here, I know the house wasn't treated. The spiders are easy. When I go into a house that has a garage, I spray these areas, and I use a dewebber, and I get rid of the spider webs. Okay, a lot of companies don't do that. We do. It's a service that we provide, and we've been training now for the last few years about getting rid of spider webs. All right, we're outside now at a house that potentially may have a rodent problem or rats. Okay, you want to always make sure your soffit vents are nice and secure and no holes in them. If there's a hole in there, rats going through, or even termites going through. You see the soffit vents here? People forget about them. You get rats in there, you get termite swarms in there. That's how termites get into your attic first, because the wood in the attic is generally non-treated wood. So the termites love to get into that soft wood. Companies, when they treat a perimeter, when I learned 35, 40 years ago, they had me only spray the base of the house, 3 or 4 feet up. Well, my guys, we not only do up to 6 feet up, around the windows, the eaves, okay, fences, all around, fences, okay? That's gonna create that barrier to keep the ants, even termites away, because termites are easy to kill if they're swarming from other houses. But mainly that treatment is for ants and general household pests. A lot of companies don't do that for some reason. I don't understand it. But without doing these eaves, now again, they all do the bottom, or should do the bottoms and around. Also, another advice I tell people is try not to put too much up against the house. Rats like that hidden areas. Even the bullfrogs, sometimes they get, if you have stuff up against the house where you can't either clean or keep the debris from there, so you're gonna get rats, you're gonna get other animals that love to hide behind those areas. Okay? Again, with the perimeters, most companies and most people always forget to do those eaves up here. That's where they're gonna be. You have tree limbs hanging off the trees. That's where the rats come over, that's where carpenter ants come over, and they're gonna get into the house. Okay, so you gotta make sure you treat the eaves and around the windows. We offer a service where we actually seal with silicone these cracks, because you'd be surprised how many cracks there are in an average house. Paint, by the way, and seal is the first defense against bugs and even rodents. When you take care of the outside of your house, that creates a barrier. A roach or an ant is not going to go through this paint. Even a termite's not going through the paint. They're going through a crack. They need a crack to get in. Either an open soffit vent. People think termites can eat through concrete. They don't. They need a crack to get in. Those of you who are do-it-yourself, I'm going to tell you a quick way you could do your own identification, and you can bring them to us. We can also do more defined identification for you. Here's an example. These are termites. See the wings? Okay, but sometimes you only see the wings. Okay, because the termite generally will drop the wings and you'll just see the bug itself. But basically, you're going to see wings alone, or sometimes you see some bodies. Okay, these are termite evidence. These are pellets. It's really feces from termites, but they call them pellets, they call them frass. It comes in different colors, black, tan, white even, okay? I'm not sure if you can be seen. Can you see this? Okay, these are termite pellets. And another company will tell them, again, I don't put down other companies, will tell them that this is termites. It's clearly not termites. Now, carpenters do come in different sizes, and they also have wings. And I'll put them under the microscope. You'll see another thing, and we identify for them. No, this is termites, this is ants. This is frass, which is another way of saying termite pellets or frass, or feces really, of termites. So if you see this around your door frame, window frame, you have termites.